good morning, and welcome. Today we're going to take another look at stellar lumens and how it's performing against the dollar. XLM has recently completed our expected trend to retrace about 25% from the 50-cent resistance mark. This saw XLM settle into yonder green zone, from which we expected the asset to challenge the 50-cent resistance and eventually support the long-term trend line. XLM has done this and beat our expectations on the timing. So, before we get into what we expect next, nice couple reminders. If you're here for the first time, make sure to hit that subscribe. We like the charts and we like criticizing them, and we look at real stuff on the 1 week time frame instead of this 15-minute nonsense. So, drop the like. Let us know what you think. Are we going to be right? Are we wrong? Where will XLM be in a month? Also, a good moment for the disclaimer. Folks, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. It is an instance of fun financial entertainment or education. We enjoy the charts, and we hope you do too. So, getting back to the chart, our new expectation is this sort of dotted green line underneath this red trend line, or this red resistance line at about 80 cents. I do think near-term momentum, we have enough in this run to at least get to 70 cents. When we hit 70 cents, I'm not quite sure what happens next. I think there is a fair argument for like a sort of this to happen right here, and something kind of like this. Maybe we need to go up a little bit more, and then we'll sort of repeat this pattern that's going on. I think this might be a better we might repeat something a little closer to that than this large retrace. But after that, I'm not so sure. The wider market does appear to have some cracks in it. I know that 50,000 got supported pretty strongly on psychic resistance. I think there's a lot of institutional money that has gone into the idea that we might not see Bitcoin below 50,000, and it certainly helped with buoyancy on the latest dip. It's ironic. I almost want to say the near long term. The near long term looks a little worse in my honest opinion. I think we might even see a larger retest if we lose the 50 cents mark here. I think 50 cents for Lumens also going to exist as a sort of like interesting point of psychic resistance. But let's go ahead. I think potential for we hit here and then classic 26 to 70% potential retracement. Probably also very likely we might retest this green zone right around 33 cents. There's a lot of different points that aren't necessarily my support and resistance lines that could be effective trading strategies here. And it's a good reminder about trading support and resistances. They're not, it's support and resistance is pirate code. It's a good idea. Guidelines, really. Guidelines. Ha, get it? Guidelines. So that's what we're kind of looking at here. Lumens has really had a shocking run since November. I know folks text me and talk to me about these like individual candles, individual weekly candles more so. It's interesting to put it down to 4 hours because a lot of people look at these charts like this. And there's a lot to be said for doing that. I don't have the time or the impulse control to look at charts like this. So I mean, I have to look at it to look at a 4-hour chart. I'll look at a 4-hour chart, but you know, I think this is nearing on madness. But it is what it is. You know, we'll go back up to the 1-week chart where we are super comfy, and you know, here this looks to be rather straightforward. He can't go up forever, and you know, for the folks that 7 cents, it looks like 7 cents was really a great point to get in here at the end of last year. 865%, and if you got the March bottom or the year bottom, whoo-wee, that is pretty. You know, and folks question some of my trading strategies and why I do what I do. I mean, the whole intention of holding and averaging down is to acknowledge that over the long-term time frame, this is going to happen, and you know, how much of this did you capture? It's a great question for folks' selves. You know, if holding is constantly beating your strategy or your deployment of strategies plus risk analysis, why not just hold? Why not just hold? I certainly criticize my own strategies from that. You know, why not just hold? I did, you know, I can't be too upset because I know I made a good trade off of what I pulled out of Lumens and put elsewhere because other things exploded. So, you know, the line between opportunity cost and FOMO is rather blurry. But, you know, near-term expectations, one of the things that concerns us here is if you look at the sort of volume trajectory of stellar lumens in the last 5 to 6 months when we start to see this rise, certainly we see a lot of renewed interest. We see a lot of good things going on. But for the moment, there does seem to be a lot of pent-up holding. And the big question is going to be: does the party end? You know, do holders start to capitulate slowly, and does that push down the price? And if that should happen, you know, I think you can expect the big drop, you know, all the way to the 70% retracement, or possibly even more depending on macro conditions. But will it happen? It's hard to say, especially as institutional money keeps flowing in. Stellar Lumens, you know, wonderful announcements in the recent history with partnerships going on with places like Ukraine and other notable institutions. Really something to pay attention to as time goes on. The project makes sense. You know, if you want to check out the white paper or even read some literature, there's plenty out there on, you know, what these folks are trying to do and the things that they're actually partnering with to do. You know, it's odd. It's 2021, and a lot of the times it feels like we're still talking about blockchain utility and adoption like it's 2015 or 2016, because I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, but you know, this is a project that appears to be moving forward. So I'll kind of leave it there. And just as a side note, you know, we really like Lumens. We think it's a long term. We think it's got wheels on the long term. You know, that is a bias that underwrites all of this analysis, and folks should be careful. You know, if you don't share that bias, you know, you're probably going to trade extremely differently than I will, because I'm okay with accumulating lumens, and you know, there's in some ways it mitigates losses that I might make, and I mean, goodness, and if you're doing things right on a coin like this, you really you haven't made the losses yet. That's the thing, is that we're in this, that's why I'm concerned, is we're in this situation where it's, you know, we're 2300% from last March, and we're 900% from November. And folks say, well, oh, it was like that. It was, but it wasn't. If we take this here and go to, the high, January high, still confirmed high for February, that was only, 475%. I mean, only 475%. Since then, we have risen, another 50% off that, but, it's that full, like almost 800, 900% up there. And it's kind of a lot, for a 6-month run. Yeah, I mean, of course, we always could bust out and go soaring, flying. And that's a good point to come over here and possibly get an ad interruption by TradingView. No, we're not going to. That's good. This is sort of the big time frame that we're looking at on Stellar and Bitcoin. We've been looking at this chart for quite a while. This is a fun and interesting place to be. Yeah, I don't have that much more to say about it than that. I mean, I certainly do. This, it looks like, yeah, we did recently flip this, so we are flipping support, or flipping resistance into support. We are sitting on, or we just touched this resistance, which is, I think busting this one could be monumental for Stellar. That's the 316% potential max. I mean, not potential max. What I see as the max for this potential breakout should something big happen. And that something big could very well be like a deflation of Bitcoin, while Stellar, as sort of a premier altcoin, manages to maintain its value. That could see, a return to this period, and that would be interesting. If psychic resistance holds on Lumens at 50 cents, just because of how easy it is to flow cash into altcoins in 2021 directly, that could be an interesting player in the market going forward. I mean, it's we're kind of in the early stages of macro scale question for the next couple of decades, and that's does Bitcoin remain king of cryptocurrency? And I mean, near term, the answer is absolutely yes. Mid long term, the answer is probably. But after that, 20, 25, 30 years, what are we looking at? And that's an interesting question. And one side of that question is going to imply that we do see some of these massive runs by altcoins against Bitcoin. We do see dominance go down, and those are worlds that that could happen. Nothing seems to last forever. But I could also see the inverse. I could see Bitcoin doing well. What do you think? Make sure to let me know below. And if you're still here at the end of 14 minutes of chart analysis and random discussion, thank you so much. We appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure to hit the like, drop the subscribe, and have a great day.